The human heart, a labyrinth of desires and contradictions, often finds itself ensnared by the most potent of attractions, the forbidden. Why is it that the very things deemed off-limits, shrouded in societal disapproval or moral ambiguity, possess such an undeniable magnetic pull? It's a question that has haunted poets, philosophers, and ordinary individuals for millennia, a testament to our inherent fascination with the elusive, the dangerous, and the deeply passionate. We, as observers of the human condition, are drawn to narratives where boundaries are tested, where love dares to defy the established order. What primal instinct compels us to chase the shadows, to yearn for what is just beyond our grasp? History itself is a grand tapestry, woven with threads of forbidden affections. Consider the star-crossed lovers of Verona, Romeo and Juliet, their fervent passion tragically extinguished by the bitter feud of their families. Or the epic, yet doomed romance of Lancelot and Guinevere, whose devotion to each other ultimately shattered the legendary court of Camelot. These tales, passed down through generations, share common themes: societal disapproval, vast class differences, and the crushing weight of existing commitments. They are stories of immense personal cost, where happiness is sacrificed at the altar of convention. Yet their enduring power lies in their raw depiction of love's refusal to be confined. Though often ending in heartbreak or ruin, these romances resonate because they touch upon a universal truth: the heart's capacity for rebellion. Psychologically, this magnetic pull is often explained by the forbidden fruit effect. Scarcity and perceived value are intimately linked. What is difficult to obtain, what is denied, instantly becomes more desirable. This isn't merely about rebellion, though challenging norms certainly plays a role in identity formation, particularly in youth. There's an intoxicating thrill that accompanies secrecy and danger, a potent cocktail of adrenaline and heightened emotions that can be easily mistaken for profound love. The clandestine encounters, the whispered promises, the shared glances across crowded rooms, all contribute to an idealized version of the forbidden person, projecting our deepest desires onto them, untainted by the mundane realities of an accepted relationship. Obstacles, far from deterring, often intensify these feelings, creating an us against the world mentality. This shared struggle fosters an illusion of a deeper, more profound connection, a bond forged in the fires of adversity. This powerful, often destructive dynamic was about to ensnare Eleanor. Her life, outwardly perfect, was a gilded cage. Trapped in a loveless but stable marriage to Arthur, her days were a predictable cycle of social obligations and quiet desperation. Security and societal expectation were the twin pillars of her existence, cold comfort for a heart that yearned for warmth. Arthur, ever the pragmatist, was consumed by maintaining control and preserving his impeccable image, oblivious to the quiet storm brewing within his wife. Then there was Julian, a passionate artist. His spirit was as untamed as his canvas, free-spirited, yet bound by a complex past that occasionally shadowed his eyes. He sought artistic expression as an escape from a profound loneliness. His world was vibrant, chaotic, everything Eleanor's was not. Their initial meeting was accidental, a collision of worlds in a bustling gallery, a fleeting glance, a shared smile over a piece of abstract art, and an immediate, undeniable spark ignited between them. It was a silent acknowledgement of a kindred spirit, a recognition that transcended words. Their encounters grew small, clandestine moments stolen from the mundane, a coffee shared in a hidden corner cafe, a brief conversation in the hushed aisles of a bookstore. Each meeting fueled Eleanor's internal conflict, the suffocating weight of duty versus the exhilarating lightness of desire. Julian, sensing her hesitation, became increasingly fascinated. his disregard for consequences growing with each stolen moment. The danger was palpable, the thrill intoxicating. One evening, a sudden turn of a corner, a familiar car passing by, they almost were discovered. A gasp, a hurried retreat into the shadows, their hearts pounding in unison, a shared secret tightening the invisible bond between them. Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you are watching from. The hushed encounters, once sporadic and fraught with the thrill of near discovery, deepened into a regular rhythm, a clandestine dance between Eleanor and Julian. Their stolen moments became more frequent, more intimate, each meeting peeling back layers of their carefully constructed lives. In the quiet solitude of Julian's studio, or during long, meandering walks through less traveled parts of the city, they shed their masks. Eleanor, accustomed to Arthur's detached practicality, found herself sharing dreams and vulnerabilities with Julian she hadn't dared voice even to herself. He listened, truly listened, his eyes reflecting an understanding that made her feel truly seen, truly heard, for the first time in years. Julian, in turn, revealed fragments of his complex past, the artistic struggles, the gnawing loneliness that his vibrant exterior often concealed. Their connection blossomed in the shadows, a fragile, exquisite flower watered by shared secrets and unspoken desires. But as their emotional intimacy grew, so too did the external pressures. Arthur, a man of meticulous habits and keen observation, began to notice subtle shifts in Eleanor's demeanor. Her once predictable schedule sometimes wavered. Her eyes, previously dimmed by resignation, now held a spark, a fleeting animation he couldn't quite place. He prided himself on control, on preserving the pristine facade of his marriage and his public image. These small deviations, like ripples on a still pond, disturbed his carefully ordered world. A tight knot of suspicion began to form in his stomach, an unease he meticulously suppressed but could not entirely dismiss. Simultaneously, Julian's past, a shadowy presence he often alluded to, started to resurface in unexpected ways, creating new, unforeseen complications that threatened to unravel their delicate secret. The fear of exposure, once a distant possibility, now loomed large, a cold, persistent dread. Eleanor and Julian, caught in the intoxicating current of their hidden world, convinced themselves they could manage the situation. They built an elaborate tapestry of rationalizations, each stolen kiss, each whispered confession justified by the profound connection they felt. This, they believed, was true love, a force so powerful it transcended conventional morality. They were careful, they told themselves, cunning in their deception, believing their secret world impenetrable. The adrenaline of their illicit affair, the sheer audacity of carving out a space for their passion amidst the demands of their separate lives, created an illusion of control, a dangerous sense of invincibility. Yet even the most meticulously woven webs can snag on a single, careless thread. One afternoon, a small, forgotten scarf, imbued with Julian's distinctive scent, slipped from Eleanor's bag as she hurried into her home. Arthur, returning unexpectedly early, found it. The delicate silk, a shade of deep emerald green she never wore, lay innocently on the polished floor. A cold wave of certainty washed over him, chilling him to the bone. His carefully constructed world shattered in that instant. The confrontation was brutal, swift, and laced with a venom Eleanor had never witnessed. Accusations, sharp and unforgiving, pierced the air, tearing through the fragile peace of their home. The trust, already eroded by years of unspoken distance, imploded entirely. Arthur's face, usually composed, was contorted with a raw, visceral feeling of betrayal. His voice, steady but menacing, vowed retribution, a promise that echoed in the sudden, terrifying silence of the house. Eleanor was engulfed by an overwhelming wave of guilt and fear. The intoxicating dream of their love, once so vibrant and real, began to crumble under the harsh glare of reality. The consequences, once abstract, now materialized, solid and terrifying. Julian, in his own world of artistic passion, was forced to confront the tangible damage his impulsiveness had wrought. The thrill had evaporated, replaced by a gnawing emptiness, a stark realization of the pain they had inflicted. In a desperate last-ditch attempt, Eleanor tried to salvage her marriage, to plead, to explain, to somehow mend the irreparable tear. But Arthur's eyes, once holding a flicker of affection, now met hers with cold, unyielding indifference, a gaze that promised nothing but a desolate future. Arthur, his face a mask of chilling resolve, wasted no time. He orchestrated Eleanor's public humiliation with meticulous precision, a cruel masterpiece of vengeance. Whispers, fueled by carefully leaked information and veiled accusations, spread like wildfire through their social circles. The once unblemished reputation of Eleanor, the respectable wife of Arthur, crumbled into dust. Invitations ceased, polite smiles turned to averted gazes, and her name became synonymous with scandal. The social fallout was swift and brutal, leaving her isolated and ostracized. Julian, too, felt the sting of Arthur's calculated retribution. His artistic integrity, once his shield and sword, was publicly questioned. Exhibitions were cancelled, commissions withdrawn, and his once eager patrons vanished, leaving his career in tatters. The emotional devastation for all parties involved was profound, a wreckage far greater than any physical ruin. Eleanor's life, once a predictable tapestry of comfort and societal expectation, lay in ruins. The divorce was swift, merciless, stripping her of not only her marriage, but also her financial stability and social standing. She found herself adrift, navigating a world that had once been hers, now hostile and unwelcoming. Her initial motivation was pure survival, a desperate scramble to find a new footing. With quiet determination, she began rebuilding brick by painful brick, discovering a resilience she never knew she possessed. Julian, his vibrant world dimmed by the scandal, retreated into his art. His career suffered immensely, the whispers of his affair tainting every brushstroke. Yet from the ashes of his public disgrace, a new somber inspiration emerged. The raw pain, the profound loss, the bitter taste of consequence, all found their way onto his canvases, transforming his art into a powerful, albeit melancholic testament to his experience. Arthur, meanwhile, stood amidst the wreckage he had wrought, his victory hollow and unsatisfying. The vengeance he had so meticulously pursued brought him no peace, only a deeper, more profound emptiness. His desire for control had consumed him, leaving him with a sterile, solitary existence, devoid of the very warmth he had sought to destroy in Eleanor. Eleanor's path to redemption was a solitary journey of self-discovery. Stripped of all she once valued, she learned to value herself, finding strength in independence. She took up a quiet, unassuming job, slowly rebuilding her finances and her sense of purpose. The scars remained, a constant reminder of her past mistakes, but they no longer defined her. Julian's artistic expression became his form of atonement, a way to process the pain and seek a deeper understanding of the human condition. His new works, infused with a raw honesty, began to garner critical acclaim, though he remained emotionally isolated, forever marked by the affair. Arthur, however, found no such redemption. He lived a solitary life, consumed by resentment, unable to move past the betrayal that had shattered his carefully constructed world. The bitterness festered, a constant companion in his quiet, empty home. Revisiting the initial magnetic pull of forbidden love, it now appeared through the harsh, unforgiving lens of pain and devastating consequence. The intoxicating thrill, the us against the world mentality, had masked a destructive force, a tempest that left only wreckage in its wake. The distinction between passionate desire and sustainable love had become painfully clear. Some boundaries, Eleanor realized, existed not to oppress, but to protect, to prevent the kind of profound suffering she had endured. Years later, Eleanor found a quiet contentment, a hard-won peace. She had learned from her mistakes, emerging stronger, more independent, and surprisingly, more genuinely happy than she had ever been in her previous life. Julian, though he achieved critical acclaim for a magnificent body of work inspired by their tragic affair, remained emotionally isolated, his art a testament to his genius, but his life a poignant echo of what might have been. Arthur, alone and consumed by bitterness, faded into obscurity, a prisoner of his own vengeful heart. The lasting impact on each character served as a powerful, albeit subtle revelation, the magnetic pull of forbidden love, while an undeniable force, often masks a destructive current, capable of shattering lives and leaving behind only bittersweet echoes of what could never truly be. It is a compelling narrative, a timeless tale, but never a blueprint for lasting happiness.